Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 3rd of March and we will be dealing with only one very important topic which is in news. Mr. Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, meeting Mr. Trump, the American president, in the White House Oval Office. This meeting turned out to be an ugly one where the confrontation unfolded between them. The issue was bringing an end to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Now, US under the presidency of Donald Trump has taken a different position on this war from the previous governments. USA wants Ukraine to sign a peace deal with Russia, whereas on the other hand, Ukraine claims that if we sign a peace deal with Russia, Russia will violate the provisions of that deal in the times to come. We don't trust Russia. And there is where, the confrontation unfolded. US claims that by saying this or by expressing distrust on Vladimir Putin and Russia, the Ukrainians are insulting the Americans. And hence, America decides to withdraw all war aid to Ukraine. A mines and minerals deal was also on the cards, but yes, that is also not going to be signed now. But let's see what happens and let's see how things unfolded. So this meeting, you can see Mr. Zelensky, Mr. Trump and Mr. J.D. Vance, the Vice President of USA, were there in this meeting. And there was confrontation not only between the two presidents, but the Vice President of America also confronted with Mr. Zelensky. This was unprecedented. No meeting of such high level was aired on the televisions in such a manner. The American television were already there covering this meeting. And this was very much disturbing. This actually talks about America's, I would say, intentions, no doubt about the fact to end the war. But the way things are being taken care of or the way things are happening is something which is unprecedented and uncalled for at such high levels. Like this kind of meeting should be done, but it should have been done in closed doors. This is what many experts all across the world have to say, including in India. And then the outcomes could have been, declared to the media. But yes, it was happening in the presence of everyone. So this meeting entailed heated discussion, showed serious problems in US-Ukraine relations as well. And it is clear that Trump wanted to end the war in Ukraine on his own terms. It is not considering the concerns of Ukraine, neither the concerns of Europe as a whole. And this confrontation has also widened the distance between USA and Europe. Europe, which is in solidarity with Ukraine, and USA's position. We all know that. So this has, brought an interesting, I would say, turn to this equation in the Russia-Ukraine war. Now, key events during this meeting. What were the key events? First was Trump's ultimatum. He told Zelensky, you either make a deal, this deal is the peace deal with Russia, or we are out. We are not going to support you and you are continuing fighting a war which obviously is, I would say, not winnable. So that is what it is. He said that the US would either push for a peace deal or stop helping Ukraine altogether. Shouting and confrontation. The meeting turned into a loud argument with both sides shouting and accusing each other. This damaged the relationship between US and Ukraine, which was already shaky. Now, impact on US-Ukraine relations. Meeting made people question whether Ukraine could continue fighting Russia without US support or not. Obviously, the answer to this question is no, it cannot. But US is wanting Ukraine to end this war, sign a peace deal with Russia. Ukraine has also been demanding that I want those territories to be returned back to Ukraine which have been occupied by Russia. And roughly it is somewhere around 20% which has been occupied by Russia. The easternmost part of Ukraine which is bordering Russia. So this is what the issue is. Trump's views on Russia's actions. Dismissal of Russia's past violations. Trump downplayed Russia's history of breaking promises. He said that don't talk about this. This Russia did when there were other presidents over here in America. Now they have assured me, and I am assuring you that they will not. If you are still not ready to believe, means you are undermining America, and that is what led to a heated conversation. Saying it happened under the past US leaders. He also hinted at talks with Russian officials showing a shift in US policy towards Russia. These talks happened in the Saudi Arabia, and obviously Ukraine was not invited to it. None of the European leaders were invited to it. Americans, Russians and the Saudis were present. And after that meeting, the American president now meeting the Ukrainian president and urging him for peace. Now Zelensky's request and Trump's response. Zelensky asked for clear security guarantees from the US, but only received a vague promise of continued military support from Trump. Ukraine said that if I sign the peace deal, and after that Russia, becomes or aggresses against us, then what? Are you giving us security guarantees? To which USA is not giving security guarantees. There were vague promises. Trump told Zelensky to agree to a peace deal with Russia before he would meet him again. Pressure on Zelensky. After weeks of pressure, Zelensky agreed to Trump's term, but it hurt Ukraine's trust in the US and left them uncertain about America's commitment to their cause. Actually, there was also a minerals and mine and minerals deal which was on the cards, in which we'll be discussing it later in this video only. But yes, just let me give you a brief glimpse of that billions of dollars have been donated by America to Ukraine. And a way of recovering this billions of dollars is Ukraine giving access to its mines of rare earth elements and critical elements to USA. And, a clause in that mines and minerals deals that 50% of the revenue given to Ukraine for, those minerals has to be invested on reconstruction and redevelopment of Ukraine. This is what actually the deal was. And in that deal, there was also a clause of military guarantees or security guarantees by America to Ukraine, which was removed. So America is not ready to give security guarantees on one hand, and on the other hand, it is pressurizing Ukraine to end the war with Russia, sign a peace deal with Russia. So this is something which is happening. Now the argument in Oval Office, what was there? So Vice President Mr. J.D. Vance's criticism was also there. Vance criticized Zelensky for speaking out about Russia's broken promises, saying it was disrespectful to the US because Russians have told the US that they would be keeping up the word. And now when America is saying it to Ukraine is not ready to believe it. And that is what led Mr. J.D. Vance, the Vice President, communicate in a very harsh manner to Mr. Zelensky that you are undermining America. Trump warned Zelensky saying you are gambling with World War III. You are being disrespectful to the country that's backed you far more than a lot of people say they should have. So a lot of backing, billions of dollars have been given. And there is no, I would say, kind of accounts for that as well. And this is what, Trump is saying, we don't want to give you further. Because you're fighting a war which obviously is very clear that Russia is winning. If we withdraw support, you lose. And if we keep on giving you support, our billions of dollars are getting drained. So why? Trump's criticism of Zelensky's attitude towards Putin. Trump also criticized Zelensky for his hatred of Putin, calling it a problem for peace talks. Now, Mr. Zelensky is in a big problem as of now. And obviously, if we keep ourselves in the shoes of Ukrainian president, definitely it is going to be a big of challenge for us. Our biggest contributor of aid and help is withdrawing. There is pressure mounting on us for peace. We have, an aggressor to face, that is Russia. And we don't know, even after signing a peace deal, whether that aggressor will sit down calmly or keep on doing the aggressions. America is not giving us any security guarantees. So this is what the situation is. Now let us talk about the US-Ukraine minerals deal as well. Now first of all, the map you can see, this is Ukraine. The pink portion which you are seeing is the area which has been taken over by Russia. This is Crimea. Crimea was taken over by Russia in 2014. And now this eastern part, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia and all are over here. This has been undertaken by Russia. A lot of mineral reserves are also over here. But yes, if I talk about other mineral reserves, the yellow ones, titanium reserves, zirconium reserves. The purple ones is graphite. This is graphite. Very much important these are. The green ones are rare earths. Rare earths are used for making semiconductor chips and all. And the light purple ones are lithium. And lithium is very much important for the batteries for EVs. So these are critical minerals and these are present in Ukraine. And for mining these minerals, USA and Ukraine were signing a deal. The deal's initial promise, Zelensky hoped to sign an agreement giving the US access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals, which could lead to future deals. However, the deal was cancelled after this argument. Obviously, it had to be cancelled. But yes, let us see what is the present scenario of this deal is. Hold on, we will discuss that as well. Now, Trump's position. Trump argued that the deal would help US taxpayers get their money back from the aid sent to Ukraine. But he also said Ukraine's security should be Europe's responsibility, not America's. Though America is not willing to give any security guarantees in return. America says, I want access to minerals, I'll pay you for the minerals. And as part of a clause in this deal, 50% of that revenue has to be spent on reconstruction and redevelopment. Now, the details of the mineral deal planned to create a fund to help rebuild Ukraine. Ukraine would contribute 50% of the proceeds from its mineral, oil and gas resources to this fund. US would support Ukraine's economy without giving firm security promises. Disagreements. US originally asked for access to $500 billion worth of mineral resources, but later on it was changed because that was heavily in favor of USA. That was not reasonable. And now with the new terms and conditions which we discussed, the deal was about to be discussed. Ukrainians also considered this to be reasonable, but due to this fallout between them, this was not discussed. Is it over? Well, we don't know, or we can't say as of now, because as of now the deal's future, it seems to be cancelled as of now. But yes, from America, the Ukrainian president flew to Europe, London basically, and there he had to attend the EU summit where European leaders met him. And after that summit, there were some statements released by Mr. Zelensky. We will discuss that as well. But as of now, the deal's future, if I talk about, it stands cancelled. But you never know. In geopolitics, things change and things change quickly. Now, Ukraine's rare earth minerals. Ukraine has about 5% of world's key materials, including graphite, titanium and lithium, which are important for electric vehicle batteries. They also have rare earth minerals, but the full extent is debated. Now, Russian control, that pink area which I showed you, the eastern part of Ukraine, Russia has taken control of some Ukrainian resources worth around $350 billion. A quarter of Ukraine's land is also contaminated with landmines, making it hard to safely access these resources. These landmines have been laid by Ukrainians only. In case of Russian aggression, they will be blasted. Now, reaction from European leaders. The European leaders obviously displayed their solidarity with Ukraine, most of them. Like here is the French President, Mr. Emmanuel Macron. He said that we were right to help Ukraine and sanction Russia 3 years ago and to keep doing so. So by we meant the Europeans, the Americans and all. And he's urging America not to withdraw support and keep on supporting Ukraine. This is what the French president has to say. Now, Mr. Peter Fiala, he is the leader of Czech Republic. He says that we stand with Ukraine and on the side of free world. Then this is Donald Tusk, the president of Poland. Dear Zelensky, dear Ukrainian friends, you are not alone. This is what he posted on X. Then Evika Selina, Latvia, she is the leader of Latvia. She also stands firmly with Ukraine. Mr. Pedro Sanchez, he is the leader of Spain. Ukraine, Spain stands with you. This is what he has to say. Then Mr. Dick Schoof, he is the leader of Netherlands. Netherlands also expressed support to Ukraine. And Mr. Louis Montenegro, he is the leader of, I would say, Portugal. And Ukraine can always count on Portugal. This is what the Portugal president has to say. Largely, if I see the map of Europe, you will see countries, most of them are in support of Ukraine. But one country, Italy, is kind of neutral. The Italian Prime Minister, Mrs. Meloni, also met Mr. Zelensky, and obviously support is there, but she is kind of neutral in this. She is not against Ukraine, but she is not in support of Ukraine also. This is what her standpoint is. But largely, if I see, Europe is in support of Ukraine, and this is where Europe is standing different from America. The differences between Europe and America seems to be increasing, and these differences can lead to multiple, I would say, major events in the world. Like USA can be thinking of withdrawing from NATO, which is a military alliance based on collective defense of USA and these West European countries. USA can be thinking of withdrawing from United Nations also, because there were some news yesterday that America can be thinking on these lines as well. And these are going to be major events then. So that is going to shake the entire world. And God forbid if the world moves towards World War III, then this World War III is going to happen with countries having nuclear bombs with them. And that is going to be a very difficult time period for the entire world. We don't want that. We want peace. Compromises have to be done, and compromises have to be done in a way which is acceptable, largely acceptable to all. But yes, compromises have to be done if we have to save the entire humanity. We need to think about the larger good. This is what the leaders should be thinking. No doubt about the fact that Ukrainians have fought very bravely, but it is time to think. Can we extend it? Can we elevate it to, a World War III? Or can we end it? Obviously, the best option is, can we end it? But how, on what terms and conditions? That needs to be talked about. So this is the image of summit of the EU leaders, where you can see Zelensky, UK's Prime Minister, French Prime Minister, and multiple European leaders. Mr. Trudeau was also invited, and he was also present in this meeting. And it seems that these are happy to be far from America. But that won't help solve the problem. The problem lies in ending the solution lies in ending the war. What now? Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said a minerals deal with the United States is ready to be signed, despite his public bust-up with US President. All these statements have come yesterday. It is our policy to continue despite what happened in the past. We are constructive. If we agreed upon signing it, we were ready to sign it. And honestly, I believe that the United States is ready as well. This is what he has to say. He's showing some hope for the mines and minerals deals to be signed. And he's also hoping that America does not withdraw military support to Ukraine. So this is the first statement. Second statement, perhaps there is a need in time to analyze certain things, but I just want the Ukrainian position to be heard. He said that I'm ready to analyze certain things, but I need the Ukrainian position to be heard at least. If you are not hearing the Ukrainian position and imposing something on us, obviously we are not going to take it. It was very important to me that Ukrainian position is heard. And last, he said that we count on assistance from the United States without a doubt. So he's still counting on assistance from United States, but is the United States ready to assist? That is a big question. But yes, in the end, peace is something which is a solution to everything. How it comes, on what terms and conditions it comes, these two questions have to be addressed, and these two questions are not simple to be addressed. These two questions are not small questions as well. These are very big questions which can shape the destiny of Europe, the destiny of the world as a whole. Even, smallest country of the world is getting impacted due to this war. And that is why it needs to end. So with this, we come to an end of today's session. I'll be seeing you tomorrow now with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys very well know what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Namaste, Jai Hind. See you tomorrow.